A very important court case today was going on that would decide the fate of several players across the country, namely Fred Perry, Michael Coach, Jason Chambers, and more for this West Virginia team. Are they going to be eligible, or did the conference commissioner step in and
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. Welcome back into Locked On West Virginia. Well, we're talking about Mountaineer football again this evening, guys, and thank you so much for joining in as we do it. Going to be brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. Right now with FanDuel, if you didn't know, now you know. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your live NFL bets all season long. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen. For being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where we talk about your team, the Mountaineers, every single day. Going to be a fun night. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. I haven't announced the guest yet for 8 p.m., but trust me, you're going to want to be here at 8 p.m. I'm only going to be doing 20 minutes on this episode. We're going to take a 10-minute break. Come right back. We're going to have a big guest. I just don't want to announce it and it not happen. This has happened to me a few times here lately, and people have gotten in my way because they find out who it is. Just the sad truth of it. So I'm not going to do that. All right. So diving in. Obviously, if you're not aware of what's going on, today was a big day in court, right? For guys like Michael Coach Jr., Fred Perry, Jason Chambers, and more. And we thought today would be a potential injunction day for not only the guys in court in Tennessee, but around the country, similar to other times throughout college football. This has happened recently, whether that's Pavia, whether that's what we had in our own backyard. Obviously, in basketball, when we did that with Raekwon Battle, there have been other times where this has happened throughout the last few years, and it's impacted the sport as a whole. So let's understand what Patterson versus the NCAA is really quick, and then we'll kind of jump into what it means for West Virginia. Patterson versus NCAA is a lawsuit and class action antitrust challenge, which is filed in September. In Tennessee, which was led by the Vanderbilt players Langston Patterson, Issa Altara, which is a D lineman, and 8 other D1 athletes. And the core target here is the redshirt rule, which limits athletes to 4 seasons of competition with 5 years of eligibility in the window. Basically, they're forced to sit out for 1 redshirt year without playing if they're not ready or something along those lines. And they argue that restriction violates federal antitrust laws by arbitrarily capping their opportunities, especially in this NIL landscape. So they contend there's no valid reason to bench athletes for a full year when they could be competed just in all 5. They could just learn on the job for all 5 instead of having to sit out for a year. I see where they're coming from to an extent, but we'll get into that in a second. So a key milestone today there was a preliminary injunction today hearing where the judge heard arguments, and he actually immediately issued no ruling today, which was not expected, I would say. But if it's probably because he needs time to look over all this. If granted, it would probably ripple effect across college sports, potentially letting thousands of athletes extend their careers. But here's where things get a little interesting. Brett Yormark, the other conference commissioners, Sankey and company, have all written letters in support of the NCAA here. So I think there's a couple things going on here. They're trying to keep the guardrails on this because yesterday I did a video on this, and I was really looking at it from a selfish point of view. Oh, man, we could get Fred Perry back. Oh, man, we could get Chambers back. Oh, man, we could get, all these dudes back. Number one, there's no guarantee West Virginia would keep those guys. Number two, at the end, it's got to stop at some point, right? Like it's got to stop falling apart for us at some point. This would be yet another thing. And here's the thing, guys. Who does this impact? It impacts the high school player, right? It's going to bottleneck the process again, just like the COVID year did. And you're going to see less high school players getting opportunities. And that's not what we want. 4 years is enough, and a redshirt year, right? So it's interesting because for West Virginia, this could be massive retention, right? And we need this. I'm not going to pretend here and sit here and pretend like we don't need it. It's a weird mind F, because would you like to have Jason Chambers? Would you like to have Brett Perry Jr. and Michael Coates back? I would. Yeah, absolutely. Would you like to have Jacob Barrick back? Would you like to have Eddie Kelly Jr. back? Would you like to have Grayson Barnes back? Would you like to have Ollie Straw back? Would you like to have Kekoura Tarnue back? Would you like to have Jacob Barrick back? Like literally every single guy that I can mention that's involved with this would impact the team in a positive way. None of them suck. So even Barrick's a great block, is turning into a good blocking tight end. So, yeah, man, I don't know. Like, I think at the end of the day, it's like I can see both sides. Selfishly for West Virginia, I would want this to happen if the guys were going to stay. If not, I understand, kind of why the conference commissioners have supported this. So it goes both ways, and I understand why. I just think that, when you think about what that means for the overall health of the sport, it gets a little weird, right? So, yeah, man, I'm kind of all about the health of the sport at this point, more so than the instant gratification of, I don't know. I don't know. I struggle with it both ways, guys. I really do. I just got a message that messed me up live. I just got some big intel, so I can't talk about it. But yeah, unfortunately for you guys. But it just rocked me. But it's nothing pertaining to West Virginia, anyways. Okay, so let's dive back into this conversation a bit and go to break, because I think what we can do next is we'll look at all the players that this impacts, and if it is approved, we have no control over that. What would the overall impact be? We'll talk about that next. This episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by our friends at Aura Frames. Today with Aura Frames, guys, the holidays are officially here, which means gift hunting season is on. And if you want something meaningful, personal, and guaranteed to get a reaction, Aura Frames is the gift that delivers every time. It's not just something you wrap, it's a way to share memories. Because Aura isn't your average picture frame, and you can preload the frame with photos before gifting it. So when they plug in, the memories are already there. No apps to figure out, no setup headaches, just instant smiles. You got grandparents, parents, newlyweds, anyone who loves photos. You got endless uploads and pictures of 30-second videos through the Aura app and personalized messages right inside the frame, so the gift feels thoughtful, though the moment it's open. Packaging cups gift ready, no price tag, no wrapping needed, just a huge win. It's pretty much a holiday gift that actually gets used, not forgotten in a drawer. For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com for $35 off Aura's best-selling carbon matte frames, number one by Wirecutter, which is a big-time publication. Use that promo code COLLEGE at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code COLLEGE. The deal is exclusive to listeners, and frames do sell out fast, so order yours now. Get it in time for the holidays and support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions are going to apply. In segment 2, we crack a do, right? That's what we do here. But by the way, guys, I appreciate y'all so much for all the support. We're just a smidgen away from 7K. We're right there on the edge of it. So we'll be doing 7K probably by Christmas. We'll have 7K, which is nice. We're glad to do that. It's been, I can remember getting that first 1,000 subscribers. It's hard to believe we've done that 6 more times since then, but We want to get to 20,000 and 30,000 and hopefully it continues to grow. That's what the hope is. It's definitely slowed down compared to in the past, but when you're talking about one team, that can be the way it is. All right, so let's look at the potential impact here, and then we got to go. I'm going to do the player, talk about what he did for West Virginia last year, and then kind of talk about what I think his impact would be if this happened. I think I did this yesterday, but it's worth doing again. Obviously, the number one player is Fred Perry, right? 12 games, 78 tackles, 51 solo, 27 assisted, 2 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, 3 passes defended, 13 tackle, 1 sack game versus Houston. I've got him at 9.8 for production, a 9.5 for leadership, even though he's can do some crazy things at times. He's a positional need. That's a 9.7. Versatility is an 8.9. Upside potential is 9.2. Total composite score 47.1 out of 50. He's an absolute stud. I think he would return and fortify West Virginia's backfield like a brick wall, right? We know that. Then you get into the weeds a little bit. And I don't even have Jason Chambers on my list. I forgot to put him on here. You would probably slot him in right there, or Michael Coach Jr. I feel like they're both similar players. I would go Coach Jr. personally. Played in 11 games last year, 30 tackles, 22 solo, 8 assisted, 7 passes defended, 1 fumble recovery. No interceptions or sacks, which was kind of surprising. He had a couple big games, especially against Pitt. He's a really good – he had some solid coverage stats, right? He had a couple PFF games where he graded high, 8.2. Leadership, 9.3. He's an all-preseason, all-Big 12 guy. He's got 44 games under his belt. He's a positional need, which is a 9.6. Cornerback is a premium. You can move him around somewhere else if you get better corners in. Versatility is an 8.5, where you can shift him maybe to the slot or the boundary, which would be a good idea potentially. And then upside, 9.0. He could potentially break out still. He's that good of a player. I do personally think he's just a little undersized. 44.6 out of 50. Eddie Kelly Jr. is a big one. I think he's a big in run support as far as just eating up blocks and that kind of thing. 11 games, 26 tackles, 7 solo, 19 assisted. Only a half a sack on the year. That's the one thing that I think a lot of us, thought maybe he would have more than a half a sack, like maybe at least 3 or 4, but he just didn't do that. Production, 7.5. He had decent disruption, but, he was more of a rotational guy. Leadership and experience, you can't overestimate that. He's been at USF, Georgia Tech, and Missouri. So he's got a lot of wisdom. That's 9.0. He's a positional need, right? So the defensive line rotation needs more beef. Like I said yesterday, 9.4. Versatility, he can play a little bandit. He can play a little inside. He can play on the nose, too, if you need him to, 8.7. And his upside and potential is an 8.8. I think he still could improve. 43.4 out of 50. And then Grayson Barnes, obviously 21 catches, 232 yards, 2 touchdowns, 11 yards per catch, along with 34. He had a couple games versus Pitt and TCU where he played pretty well. Statistically not elite, but I mean, it's, you look at him, it was a year where it was just flat out. I'll have better to say it. It was a flat out, just kind of a throwaway year for the offense passing game wise. Nobody that caught balls last year had a chance to have a good year based on how everything was. So, but I've got him graded at a 8.8 for leadership and 9.5 as a positional need, because it's just we need tight ends bad. And, I mean, you would take him back in a heartbeat if you could. 9.1 versatility, 8.9 upside, 44.3 out of 50. Oliver Straw, I mean, what a big impact he would be. 42.5 yards average per punt. I've got him at a 43.7 out of 50. I mean, he's a weapon. He really is. Kekoura Tarnue had a pretty decent season again, 40 tackles. I mean, he's got to know this scheme like the back of his hand at this point. 43.9 out of 50. I think he's a guy that you could rotate in and potentially be a really good backup player for you next year. And then Jacob Barrick, who was a good blocking tight end. He's not going to go out and catch you 30 or 40 balls, but I mean, he is a solid depth add. He's a West Virginia kid, and I love that. So Jacob Barrick is another big-time piece as well. All right, guys, we're going to break one more time. We'll come back. We'll put a bow on this one, and then we got a big-time guest coming on at 8. This episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. With FanDuel, guys, right now, NFL Sundays move fast. It's one big play, and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting the more exciting thing for you, right? You're not just watching the game. You're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place live bets as the action unfolds. Every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift. A receiver gets hot, defense tightens up, or momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump into the moment. Live spreads and money lines adjust instantly. Player props update as guys heat up, and you can bet your next touchdown score, drive result, total, and more. It keeps you locked into every snap, every drive, and every possibility. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your live NFL bets all season long with FanDuel. The game moves fast, so can you. All right. Thank you guys so much as we dive back in here. So big guest coming on here at 8. You guys will find out here in about as soon as I get off here, I'll post it. I'll schedule the video for 8:05-ish, something like that. Give them time to get on. But, just think big. It's going to be a big one. So hoping to see you guys back here for that. I would like to, be able to say who it is, but man, too many people like to mess with stuff and, be haters. So we're just gonna hold off until right before it starts. Unfortunately, it's how we got to do stuff because people love they sit there and they gnash their teeth. They're literally seething mad. That's what they do. Then they go into group chats and just literally obsess over what I do. So, and it sounds like such a like I'm full of myself, that's what it sounds like when I say that, but it's true. That's what's happening. Like, had I not seen for myself, I probably wouldn't have believed it. But there's at least a couple people, probably more like a dozen, and you wouldn't think they would make a huge dent, but they do. They literally just look for, number one, they look for me to make mistakes, but number two, they talk about my opinions in a chat and make fun of they just do everything they can. So I don't know. It's wild. It doesn't even bother me really. Like it's one of those things where I don't even know what's going on. Like people notify me, like I'll just get messages out of nowhere. Like, I don't know. It's crazy, man. It's weird to know that there are people actively hate watching. Like that's what I say all the time. All right. So we're going to go 8:48. Yeah, we might as well go ahead and go now. We'll come back, guys. Give me 12 to 15 to 18 minutes and we'll have a really awesome guest here for you. Really excited about it. Like I said, can't wait to speak with them. We'll let you know here in just a minute who it's going to be. Thanks for making us your first listen, guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Check out Locked On Big 12 as well if you can. Don't forget about the Everydayer Club. We're doing a good job with that right now. If you never miss an episode, you might as well make that official too. The Locked On Everydayer Club, you can get ad-free audio. You can have members to the you can be in a Discord that's members only, all built for our most loyal fans. So support us doing that by clicking the link I'm putting in the chat box now, and we will see you on the next one, guys. Thanks for making us your first listen, like we said. See you here in about 10 or 15 minutes. We're out of here.